To incarnate as a god and manifest to the heavens. Born with a childlike destiny, a clear and wonderful Tao ruler. Embryo transformation and easy formation, white Jade Dragon Lord. Under one person, Republic of China, drawing the villains of the martial arts world, under one person, Jia Shen Rebellion, angry Qing Xiangxi, old nine gates, ghost-blowing lanterns, tomb-robbing notes, under one person, modern, wielding fierce swords in the night, snow, killing immortals, 8 immortals, supernatural beings, devouring the starry sky, covering the sky, the great ruler it will randomly intersperse with other worlds. Actively listen to the opinions of book friends. Everything that should be there will be. Be patient and wait. Stay tuned. Keywords of the novel. One person's transformation into the heavens without a pop-up window, one person's transformation into the heavens. Download the complete set of TXT, and read the latest chapters on one person's transformation into the heavens. Chapter 1. Causes of Previous Lives, True Spiritual Investment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Causes of Previous Lives, True Spiritual Investment. The author June wrote this book in detail, and many things are related to cultivation, so don't believe, don't believe, don't believe. Chaos never records the year. Pangu opens up heaven and earth, and demons and gods transform the heavens. At night, a gray bead with scattered patterns sliced through the sky and headed towards the earth, but it did not catch anyone's attention. At this moment, time seemed to be at a standstill, as the gray bead sank into the forehead of a boy around 20 years old, and time began to pass normally. This boy's name is Yang Chun, who is just a junior high school student. He is not as talented as he imagined, but just an ordinary otaku, a member of the crowd. A fair face, however, was very brave, with a soft bone appearance, lips slightly devoid, almond-round pupils, and a slightly weak temperament. It had rosy cherry lips, slightly raised corners of the eyes, and a faint combination of dragon and phoenix. The eyebrows were handsome, and when slightly wrinkled, they looked like eagle wings. I usually enjoy reading novels and have been influenced by countless travel novels, which has sparked a great interest in Taoism. Often when one's mind is hot, they go to read various Taoist scriptures. The biggest characteristic of this person is their imagination, which can also be said to be wild thinking. On this day, Yang Chun was busy with tomorrow's exam. You should know that in university, he doesn't usually listen to classes, and there are many people who make last-minute attacks before the exam. This guy, with excellent replica memory, memorized the key points of the exam on the first day and copied them on the exam paper the next day. With this method, he was able to pass many difficult subjects without failing. I've finally finished reviewing. Tomorrow's exam should be stable now. Looking at the watch, it's already 8:30. Leaving aside the cold takeout on the table, he casually took a few sips and fell into bed drowsily. Without his knowledge, a bead flickered in his mind. Yang Chun felt that he had come into a gray world, without any ups and downs or the passage of time, as if he was in space. He gradually regained consciousness, curious and looking around. Suddenly, images came to my mind, revealing the origin of this bead. Before Pangu created heaven and earth, there were 3,000 chaotic gods and demons in chaos, representing 3,000 great paths. Each demon god controlled one path, with 3,000 paths that could prove mixed elements. Each demon god has a companion treasure, except for Pangu, who was born from the chaos Qingyan and is a powerful demon god. He wields the heavenly axe and has a creation jade butterfly on his head. The 3 of the 4 chaos treasures are unique, and another chaos pearl is hidden and unknown. Pangu created heaven and earth, hoping to attain the position of the sage of the Tao. The act of opening up heaven and earth by Pangu requires the Hongmeng purple qi to construct the heavenly way, which is the cornerstone of chaos. The Tao refused and attracted 3,000 demon gods to attack. This was a Tao calamity. However, when Pangu opened the world, he accidentally hit Chaos Pearl with an axe, causing many fragments to fall and even causing his rank to drop. Moreover, the reason why Chaos Pearl appeared in the Pangu War is due to the traction of the Tao. You should know that both the Great Tao and the future Heavenly Tao have the possibility of collapse. The destruction of the Heavenly Tao after the infinite catastrophe is destined. When the road collapses, it is unknown. Chaos Pearl, as its name suggests, nurtures chaos and is a thread of vitality beneath the Tao. For example, if the Great Way is seen as the sun in reality, the sun will eventually end its lifespan. To sustain this galaxy, it needs a planet like chaos beads to grow and replace the sun as a star, continuing to emit light and heat. Pangu injured Chaos Pearl, which was a thread of vitality for chaos creatures, and it was a great cause and effect. Pangu was unable to do so, so he had to separate one of the 50 Hongmeng purple chi in his hand and inject it into the Chaos Pearl to heal his Tao injuries and achieve full causality. The main road is 50, and the heavens extend 4 or 9. Escaping one of them leads to this. But it is said that after Pangu opened the sky, there was a clear and turbid division. Due to the lack of a Hongmeng purple chi, the heaven and earth were unstable. Pangu supported the blue sky with his hands and stepped on the earth, changing 9 times a day, and eventually collapsed due to exhaustion. On the brink of death, he said, "Stop. Stop. Stop. This is the way the Tao is. After suffering immeasurable tribulations, heaven and earth will be destroyed, and chaos will reopen. This is when I, Pangu, will return to prove the Tao." After speaking, he left with a smile and his body transformed into all things. Qi becomes wind and clouds, sound is thunder, the left eye is the sun, the right eye is the moon, the 4 limbs and 5 bodies are the 4 poles and 5 mountains, blood is rivers, meridians are the earth, skin is the earth, hair is the stars, fur is grass and wood, teeth and bones are gold and stone, essence is pearls and jade, sweat flows into rain, and all insects in the body transform into Li Qi due to the wind. After digesting this piece of information, I finally understood it. That is to say, I was selected by the Chaos Ball. Why did you choose me? What is my current state? Soul or something else? You should know that the death of ghosts is human, human death is hope, hope death is barbarian, barbarian death is micro, and micro death is intangible. And how is my body outside? He couldn't help but think. A bit of confused information came. Chaos reopened. Choose the main body to transform the spirit and complete it, due to dissipation, time and space. And a drop of bright red blood appeared. Refining essence and blood, nurturing soul and blood, world reincarnation, collecting rules, Tao damage. Completing cracks. Omega however, based on the previous footage and some information, Yang Chun can probably guess something. Perhaps the Chaos Pearl has suffered significant damage. Even with the adhesion of Hongmeng purple chi, which prevents it from dispersing, the damage is still difficult to heal and takes a long time. So I chose him as my master and accelerated the completion of the cracks by crossing the heavens and collecting rules and other things. What is here now should be one's own soul, and as for this drop of blood, it should be condensed from one's own body. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but sigh and say, it's okay. After all, it's still the bloodline of my old Yang family. I just don't know if I can see my parents again in the future. Thinking of this, he couldn't help feeling a little melancholy. Let's go. Reincarnation. Welcome my new life. With this wisp of thought, the Chaos Pearl traversed through endless darkness, as if it had been a long time, and then as if it had only passed for a moment. A strand of soul, entwined with a drop of blood essence, was sent into a flesh ball by the Chaos Pearl, and then the Chaos Pearl also disappeared into it. A few days later, Yang Chun's confused consciousness began to revive, and everything around him was dark. It seems to have a slight red light. He felt his current state. Oh my goodness, is this a meatball? But he immediately realized his current situation, so I am now a fetus. What a wonderful feeling, I have lived a new life. Well, although this life has not yet begun, it is still quite happy to be able to live a new life. However, the fetus in the mother's body was ultimately too fragile to withstand his wild thoughts, and in a hazy state, consciousness fell asleep again. In the following days, he probably discovered a pattern. He only had about half an hour of wakefulness per day, but this time also slowly increased as his body developed. In addition to the initial novel feeling, gradually he developed the most common feeling among otaku, which was boredom. Okay, besides sleeping every day, I can't do anything when I'm awake. I miss his phone, games, and novels. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep are so boring. Dish hashtag, my imagined life of cultivating immortals. Surprisingly, it was such a boring start. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. In the Womb Cultivation, the Zhelong Sleeping Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. In the Womb Cultivation, the Zhelong Sleeping Pill. In novels, the protagonists shout out that my fate is determined by me, not by heaven, that I have stained the blue sky with demonic blood, that I should not deceive young people who are poor, and that the Emperor of Do dismounts for a battle. It seems like something strange has mixed in. Looking at myself again, I feel so weak. I want to cultivate immortality, I want to live forever. Okay, although I don't know what kind of world I am reincarnated into, it doesn't prevent me from fantasizing first. Degree, after all, he is familiar with the routines of many novels, and as long as he doesn't write them, he will eventually see them for a long time. Think about what you can do now. Those, now too far away, he couldn't help but think of the Tao Te Ching he had read in his previous life. Tao can be Tao, non-Tao, name can be named, non-Tao, name is the beginning of heaven and earth, yes, the mother of all things. Therefore, there is often no such thing as wanting to observe its beauty, there is often a desire to observe its dynamics. These two, originating from the same name but with different names, are collectively referred to as Xian. Mysterious and mysterious, the gateway to all wonders. The Pure Sutra, Du Ren Jing, and Huan Ting Er seem to be not cultivation methods, and even if they are not something that one can understand now. Can't we just do nothing? Wait, there seems to be a trick of a protagonist and a visual representation. I'll just say, the great predecessors of the adventurers will eventually point themselves in the right direction. Although it's not yet known if it's useful, at least there'll be dead horses and live horses. I have tried the 3 meridians and 7 chakras of Buddhism, the white bone view, the impurity view, the sun will view, the 12 towers of Taoism, the green lotus, the Tai Chi diagram, and the stars and celestials in my past life when I was bored. Speaking of which, will my current cultivation affect my appearance when I grow up? By Gu Guan, it's not clean to observe these things. It's better to go there. Without anyone's guidance, practicing these things can easily lead to accidents. Influenced my young soul _ Although I have great confidence in my own heart. The Taoist philosophy of Zhongzheng and Pingyi can be given a try. Choosing between left and right, ultimately choosing the Tai Yin and Sun, don't ask the reason, it's simple and convenient. I absolutely wouldn't say it was inspired by the same novel, The 9 Heavens of Red Light. The 12 towers still need to be visualized layer by layer. I don't have enough time, there are too many stars in the sky, it's too troublesome. And the potential should be very high. As for asking questions about not imagining characters, inspired by conspiracy theories in certain novels, it's better not to practice until you are ultimately dominated and take power. After all, holding on to such a great opportunity, I am innocent and guilty. In the sea of consciousness, first contemplate the Tai Yin, and then contemplate the Sun. I won't go into too much detail here. What if I really think I am a cultivator? First visualize the shape, then give it a meaning. Exquisitely crafted and seamlessly integrated. Okay, let's not pretend for now. In this way, as the days passed and the body grew day by day, the trunk and limbs gradually took shape. Gradually, he he seemed to feel a warm breath constantly wandering throughout his body. Very comfortable. At first, the feeling was not obvious, but as he visualized for more time, it seemed that his soul became clearer and stronger. He felt that he could mobilize the power of his soul within this body. Finally, one day, he felt the unique power of this world. Qi. And without his knowledge, a special force was brewing. But now he doesn't know, he only knows that this warm breath should be beneficial to him. He starts trying to use his soul to capture and control this breath. This is a wonderful feeling, as if using one's own soul as a hand to catch a fish swimming in the pond. After continuous attempts, he finally succeeded in mastering this aura. And began to try to guide it throughout the body, not even letting go of its fingers. At this time, he was already 3 months old, which inadvertently created his constitution of having 100 meridians connected. Next, he has 2 things to do. Visualize the Taiyin sun and guide his breath throughout his body. Although there is no specific running route, just a simple full body walk will still consume a lot of his soul power. Fortunately, visualization can partially recover. Over time, with continuous exercise, even though his consciousness was dormant and unaware, his breath continued to operate according to his method. It seems to have achieved a unique muscle memory, but the speed of breath movement is very slow. Another month later, he felt the feedback from his body to his soul, as if his soul was staying more comfortably. The skin bag is the treasure raft of the soul, which is indeed a good statement. It seems that one's body has been strengthened. The idea of refining essence and transforming qi, refining qi and transforming spirit, one's innate strength and physical weakness, going against the trend, using spirit to guide qi, and then using qi to nourish the body, is feasible. In a while, we should be able to move on to the next stage. Since realizing that one's own breath is slowly growing, one guides the flow of breath. After exercising, when I am in a deep sleep, my breath should no longer be as disorganized as before. Overall fullness, as if practicing qi in a cultivation novel. According to the program, the next step should be a process from qualitative to quantitative change. Gasified liquid, liquefied Dan. However, considering the fragility of the baby's body and the fact that their hands and feet can only move slightly now. Laozi once said. With specialized qi, can one be as gentle as a baby? Specializing in the same kneading process means gathering together. According to the Ling Shu Jing Qi Determination chapter, qi is the power that is absorbed from the body and abundant in various parts of the body. Xuanqi is the gathering of the vital energy of life, achieving unity, fullness of the heart, and finally achieving a gentle appearance like a baby. The best method now should be Chen Tuan's Zhelong Sleeping Pill technique, which directly uses qi to form a deficiency pill and lays a good foundation for the body. My current state is the long-awaited fetal rest. For others, I think it will be much smoother. Although in my past life, following online tutorials, practicing on my own was not very useful. However, since my body has an aura, this world must not be a demon-free world. Even if it's not good enough, I can still practice martial arts. So the methods from the past life may be useful. Yang Chun pondered for a while, and finally decided to practice them first. A few days later, he felt a network-like channel appear in his body, with more condensed breath inside, which is the meridian. These breaths seem to be converging towards their lower abdomen again, like a baby holding pills. Sleeping immortal, lying high with stone roots, forgetting its years. The sinking nature of the 3 radiances is self-circular, the qi returns to the xianxiao, and the rest is natural. Don't be scattered, be calm and peaceful, cultivate your Mercury like child with warmth, and wait for his lead flowers to appear. No loss, take precautions. True heat, in the middle of luck. Traveling 7 times is not difficult. Refining 9 returns, why sigh? Watching the battle of the dragon and tiger battlefield, secretly reversing yin and yang. People say I am a hazy man, I want to sleep, but I haven't slept yet. Learning the true lying meditation, cultivating the true fetal element, and together with the lying dragon, they ascend to heaven. Who passed down this stinging technique? Bending my arm and resting my pillow on mountain I enjoy it without anyone knowing. The 5 dragons leaped out of the deep pool, and the heavenly master passed this method to the south of the map. The couples in the south of the map could inherit it, and the messy Taoist Zhang Fengxian. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Congenital abilities. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Congenital abilities. Every day is very fulfilling. When you wake up, you imagine the Taiyin sun, and when you sleep, you practice the Zhelong Sleep Pill. Plus, occasionally adjust your sleeping state and imagine your future life. Of course, one will also pay attention to their own development status, not grow too big, learn from the experience and lessons in novels, prevent difficult childbirth, and develop normally. As for the greetings from my mother and father, I'm sorry I didn't hear them. Maybe I slept too hard and woke up late at night. Anyway, I missed it perfectly. The days passed by day, and finally, it was the date of my birth. With a cry of, wow, our protagonist came to this world. Coming out. Show me now. Be careful, don't hurt the child. Accompanied by a series of greetings, he opened his eyes vaguely. Well, this fair-faced and somewhat haggard person should be his mother in this lifetime. The yellow-faced man next to him, who looks a bit silly but also somewhat handsome, should be his own father. There are no anomalies or anything else, it's a very ordinary birth. The only extraordinary thing is that after undergoing prenatal care and exercise, the skin is tender, white, and full, without any wrinkles, with clear and radiant eyes, and full of vitality. According to Cheap Dad, this kid is too handsome. In the following months, he gradually clarified his background. This is a world under one person, born in the Lu family. His parents named him Lu Chun. Looking at the clothing environment, it's still early, it should still be the Republic of China. That's right, it's the Lu family who didn't have a family tradition in the original work and went to learn from other families, and depending on the situation, he should be a subsidiary of the Lu family. My mother studied under the master of the Republic of China opera, Shang Xiaoyun. I learned the role of Dan and followed the path of advocating excellence. Advocating excellence is the use of unknown methods to collect the spiritual power that people show when worshipping gods, and to seal it up. When necessary, act until others believe, act until oneself believes, act as one's own god, and transform oneself into a god. And also aware of the benefits that Chaos Pearl brings to oneself. Although the Chaos Pearl is almost shattered, as time passes, it is still constantly repairing its original source. Every once in a while, it can take out a portion of its origin and randomly extract items from the various heavens and realms. In various worlds, one can collect various items containing rules and luck, give back and supplement their essence. It can be considered an alternative exchange. And his birth gift, also known as a beginner gift package, is the destiny of Yang Yen from the world of NU's growth diary. And transformed into a product that conforms to the rules of this world. The child's life. Qingyuan Miao Dao Zhenjun. And he also has innate abilities, which Lu Chun named Ningden. And the world is like a furnace, and creation is like work, yin and yang are charcoal, and all things are copper. Thanks to his blind practice of the Zhelong Sleeping Pill technique during his fetal life, after his birth, the Zongdanshan was located at the Tanzhong acupoint in his chest, where the energy of the sect gathered, and a faint virtual pill appeared. By utilizing the laws of this world and transforming it into innate abilities, it can also be said that the protagonist has a divine power of destiny. What is Ningden? Through perception, one can understand that one can continuously refine their own qi. Returning from qi to liquid, returning from liquid to Dan. One's own energy can be more refined, which means one has a more refined and massive energy capacity than others. Moreover, one can continuously refine the chi properties of heaven and earth, extract the chi of heaven and earth, and transform one's own chi. For example, thunder, which can continuously absorb thunder's energy to generate its own thunder attribute, can be said to be a natural close form. In addition, with one's innate ability to connect all meridians, it can also be said that one is a congenital Tao body. There is more to this mystery. You should know that people have 3 elixirs: upper, middle, and lower. Shangdanshan is the place where the Governor Maiyin Hall is located, also known as the Naiwan Palace. Zongdanshan is the acupoint in the middle of the chest, where the energy of the sect gathers. Xiadanshan is the Guanyuan acupoint of the Ren meridian, located 3 inches below the navel, where essence is stored. Since qi can be condensed into Dan, so can spirit and essence. You can achieve essence and spirit while practicing. You should know that cultivating one's character without cultivating one's life is a waste of one's life's efforts. Cultivating one's life but not one's nature is the most common disease in the world. Due to the special nature of the Zhelong Sleep Pill technique, one can continuously and slowly cultivate while sleeping. It can be said that one's innate ability of Ningdan is an alternative version of the source and flow of qi. It's just that the software is ahead of its time, and the hardware can't keep up. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Foundation Building in Childhood. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Foundation Building in Childhood. 6 years passed in a blink of an eye. Under the shade of a tree, on top of a blue stone, lay a child with crossed legs, very leisurely, holding a dog-tail grass in his mouth, as if sleeping. Thanks to the Chaos Pearl, in addition to the birth gift package, I drew 6 more things myself. They are Qi Rong Tong Tian Chrysanthemum, Narcissus Jade Skin Bone, Looking Through Autumn Water Dew, Top Grade Breathing Wind Technique Seed, Condensing Cold Mantra, and a drop of fetal blood from the White King of the Dragon Clan world. I don't even know where it came from. Also, is this poking the nest of Dolua world? However, the 3 medicinal herbs still have good effects. 3 medicinal herbs are used to wash the marrow of his I Ching. Qirong Tong Tian Chrysanthemum is a neutral immortal herb that can nourish the limbs and promote blood circulation through the 8 meridians. It can also train the body of the Vajra without damage. Narcissus Jade nourishes muscles and bones, nourishes tendons and nourishes bones, and promotes qi circulation through the 8 meridians. Looking Through Autumn Water and Dew, practicing fire and golden eyes, and seeing through all kinds of strange things. Of course, because his body is still small, most of the drug properties are still deposited in his body, but some of the drug properties have still modified him. I saw his eyes shining brightly, with fair skin and a hint of pink. His bones were perfectly balanced, and he could be called a rich and handsome man. Although he is still young, he vaguely exudes the appearance of a virtuous young master, regardless of the clothes he is currently wearing. Exhalation technique, integrated into oneself by him, becomes an alternative small divine power that can summon the bone-scraping wind, very powerful. And he can also use this method to constantly understand the trajectory of the wind, which can be considered as his understanding of heaven and earth. The condensing cold mantra is a type of mantra that originates from the world of 2 realms and seals, but it has not been revealed to his family, as some cannot be explained clearly. As for the fetal blood, let's keep it for now. There won't be a good solution for a while. Although my father is a collateral branch of the Lu family, he is not a wealthy and idle person. Dad Lu Bin couldn't resist loneliness when he was young. He left the Lujiazwang and traveled north and south, but didn't accumulate any floating wealth. Finally, they fell in love with their current mother Xiaolan. They found a rural courtyard and bought dozens of acres of land to live in the countryside. Although they didn't have luxurious clothes and food, they were victorious in safety and stability. Dad saw him so tired and lazy that he couldn't help but feel angry. He asked, "Son, do you have any plans? Which high school do you plan to join? Our family doesn't have a family tradition of martial arts. Your father and I have also learned Buddhist techniques. Although I am a layman disciple, the techniques cannot be transmitted externally. Although you could have practiced your mother's basic qi cultivation method when you were a child, it couldn't compare to those of famous families. It's really not good. Your father, I'll entrust someone from our family to find a way for you. Lu Chun replied, Dad, don't bother so much. I want to rely on my own abilities to learn from my master. What do you think of Jiangxi Longhu Mountain? I heard from you before that Longhu Mountain is about to recruit Dao Tong, and I want to become a disciple of the contemporary heavenly master. Nowadays, Longhu Mountain is led by the 64th generation of heavenly master Zhang Jingqing. Although you have good qualifications, others may not be interested in you. You may not be able to endure that hardship, my father advised. Lu Chun firmly said, don't underestimate me now. Don't advise me, just settle in Longhu Mountain. Tomorrow morning, pack your luggage and go to Jiangxi. Lu Bin had no choice but to answer, okay, I can't be your master. You tell your mother. After speaking, he hurriedly left. Lu Chun stood up to meditate and closed his eyes to look inside. I saw a divine figure sitting in the upper dantian, stepping on the yin-yang diagram, a divine pill hidden in the heavenly eye. A Qidan in Zongdanshan, shining brightly with colorful hues. Xia Dantian's qi in blood are like fire, like lead and mercury, what a great qi in blood pill. This is the 3 pills technique that he has practiced for 6 years, which is responsible for the 3 elements of essence, qi, and spirit. Shengdanshan, because he is a child's destiny, Erlang Xianqing Jinjuan sits among them. The yin-yang diagram is transformed by one's own day and night observations. Zongdanshan constantly adopts the qi of the 5 elements of heaven and earth to nourish the 5 internal organs, making qi dancing have 5 colors and radiance. Going to dantian is simply a medicinal method for pregnancy and nourishment, but it is also extraordinary. After all, I don't have a good way to exercise my body right now. Half an hour later, at noon, I went home to eat. At the dinner table, he spoke truthfully and his mother discussed with his father. Our child is very promising and will definitely make a name for himself in the future. Baby, since you're willing to argue, then go ahead. Today I'll prepare more dry food, and tomorrow you and your father will set off to sea. If it really doesn't work out, come back. Although my mother has learned a high or low skill, she still has some skills that can be squeezed out of the box. Your father doesn't have the ability to pass it on. Then learn from your mother. After speaking, he looked sharply at his father. Dad said somewhat hesitantly, just listen to your mother. With you, your mother is just a sharp tongue in a heart full of tofu. However, the knife's mouth is towards me, and the tofu's heart is towards you. Whether it's Longhu Mountain or not, he is a famous guardian of the calf. If he joins us, he will have to consider others when wandering the martial arts world in the future. After speaking, I prepared my luggage and went. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Throwing stones to ask for the way. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Throwing stones to ask for the way. The sky is just beginning to dawn. Lu Chun and his father had already set off early and rushed to Jiangxi. Along the way, we had a leisurely journey and arrived at Longhu Mountain 3 days ahead of schedule. Longhu Mountain is the ancestral home of the Taoist Jingyi Heavenly Master sect, and the founder of Jingyi Taoism, Zhang Daoling, once refined alchemy here. The Dragon and Tiger Mountain Chronicle records. The mountain was originally named Yunjin Mountain. The first generation of celestial masters refined the 9 heavenly divine pills here, and when the pills were completed, the dragon and tiger saw each other, so they named the mountain. The father and son settled in the small town at the foot of the mountain, rested for a while, and returned to the guest room. The old father couldn't help but ask his own son, Wazi, in the past, when Longhu Mountain recruited Taoist children, they were all selected from the nearby foothills. Usually, there were also few other families who came here to pay their respects. Everyone knows that the door is deep, and even if they enter, the Taoist will spend 3 years sweeping, 3 years setting fire, and 3 years carrying water and chopping firewood. Even if your father comes from the Lu family, he is still an outsider and doesn't have much face. How can you guarantee that as soon as you enter, you will be accepted as an apprentice by the Heavenly Master? Dad, don't worry about it, I have a solution anyway. Although Lu Chun said so in his mouth, his heart was also beating with excitement. Although he had confidence in his own qualifications, he couldn't bear to memorize them. Others didn't even check. After all, Chenli Ma often has it, while Bull doesn't have it often. After much thought, there is only one solution, which is to stir up trouble until the Heavenly Master knows. Don't you believe that dogs don't drool when they see lamb? I am the delicious lamb that comes to my door. You should know that it is easy to keep disciples and disciples, but it is difficult to find successors and followers. I have put in a lot of effort every day to refine the 5 internal organs with the qi of the 5 elements. It's a pity not to practice the Golden Light Mantra and 5 Thunder technique in the future. If you don't leave me here, there will be a place for me to stay. If this is going to cause trouble, I can't say for sure about my abilities tomorrow, but I have to reveal a bit. After some contemplation, I finally fell asleep in a daze. Time flies in a blink of an eye, as Longhu Mountain opens its mountain gate and gathers its disciples. Although we are not in a turbulent era, our lives are not doing well. Therefore, choosing a Taoist priest on the mountain is also a way out for many poor families. In addition, Longhu Mountain cannot help but attract more people by getting married. At first glance, it was densely packed with 100 or 10 households, leading their children to be seen by the preceding Taoist priests. Dad took Lu Chun with him, relying on his height and physique. Squeezing in, Lu Chun was placed on top of his head by his father. Lu Chun took a glance. Mom, sigh. Isn't this the future person from the heavenly passage? I saw him dressed in white clothes and cloth shoes, dressed in a Taoist attire, with a capable and free-spirited image. His eyes were full of vitality, but there was always a hint of laziness. Feeling the bones and asking questions to the child beside me. Lu Chun thought to himself, it's not easy to make a fuss today. With just one move, Lu Jin's presence is not easy to provoke, even though he has confidence in his own body and bones. Well, there must be a way to get to the front of the mountain. Let's take a step and see. Only by not arguing, can one not argue with it. But sometimes, to argue means not to argue, and not to argue means to argue. Not long after, we arrived at Lu Chun. Lu Jialu Bin, I have seen the Taoist priest, said the old father as he saluted on the side. Zhang Jiwei was a bit surprised in his heart. Seeing the opponent's footsteps generate wind and his essence overflowing, he knew that he had achieved success in physical training. I didn't expect someone from the circle to come today. At the moment, Ji Shou returned and said, in the Heavenly Master's mansion, Zhang Jiwei has seen a layman and is unaware that the layman is leading the child. Is this? Dad quickly introduced, this is my child Lu Chun, who admires Taoism. It's not a coincidence that the Heavenly Master's mansion accepts Taoist children. He wants to come and give it a try. Okay, I've heard for a long time that the Lu family is studying the 100 schools of art. This child must be pretty good too. Glancing at the child, I saw him standing tall and beautiful, with fair skin like jade and eyebrows and eyes cut like knives. His eyes are full of essence, his spirit is deep and his energy is clear, reflecting the harmony between heaven and humanity. By touching the bones with your hands, you can only feel the muscles, which are firm yet elastic. The bones are sound and delicate, the skin is warm and smooth like jade, and the meridians are broad. Like a person walking out of Yuli. And born into a family like the Lu family, I should have already started practicing qi. I praised in my heart now, good qualifications. He led the father and son aside and asked, avoiding others, your father is indeed very talented. I wonder if your father has already started practicing qi. Lu Bin quickly replied, I just practiced some basic martial arts. As you know, our father and son cannot pass it on. His mother taught some basic skills and her qualifications were very good. But this child has a stubborn and very arrogant temperament, and wants to worship the old celestial master of the heavenly master mansion as his teacher. May I ask if you could recommend me this? Zhang Jiwei hesitated a bit. I felt a bit embarrassed for a moment. After all, today we are only recruiting some Taoist children. Lu Chun looked at his expression and exclaimed, "Young man Lu Chun, he is talented and talented. Thank you for your praise. I have long heard that the Longhu Mountain Heavenly Master Mansion is the ancestral home of Taoism. The disciples have profound skills and aspire to worship under the guidance of the Heavenly Master. I am not talented, I have been practicing Qi for 2 years and know a few farming techniques. I would like to practice with the Taoist. I am fortunate to have seen the Taoist's technique today. Even if I fail, I am still blameless. I hope the Taoist will not hesitate to give me advice and give me some guidance, as the whole kid wishes." End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Xuantan Exercise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Xuantan Exercise. Zhang Jiwei's current contemplation only felt that although the little boy was young, his speech was clear and organized. It's really interesting, and there's also a bit of arrogance in the words. It's interesting to come to Longhu Mountain for advice. With the intention of trying his methods, he replied, "Since that's the case, come with me." After speaking, he led the father and son to a martial arts arena. Lu Chun said, "Dad, just watch from the side. I have fought against this Taoist." With a double kick, he stepped onto the stage, clasped his fists, and said, "Please teach me." Lu Chun understood the gap between himself and Zhang Jiwei and took the initiative. In a moment of thought, the wind knife howled. This wind, previously mentioned, is the wind that scrapes bones. Sharp as a knife, skilled in armor piercing, it is a technique for killing and attacking. The wind knife is small and dense, and when it blows together, it seems to make the person in front of you ling qi. Zhang Jiwei's heart twitched as he saw this method. Isn't it an innate ability? It's just that, but it's also good. The Taoist's expression remained unchanged. Only in an instant, the wind blade arrived in the blink of an eye. The Xuanzong of heaven and earth is the root of all energy. Guangxiu Yi Jia, prove my divine ability. Within and outside the 3 realms, only the way is supreme. The body has golden light, reflecting on my body. Seeing without seeing, hearing without hearing. Including heaven and earth, nurturing a group of people. Praised 10,000 times, and there is light in the body. 3 realms guards, welcomed by the 5 emperors. Worship to all gods, slaying thunder. Ghosts and demons lose their courage, and spirits and monsters perish. There is a thunderbolt inside, and the god of thunder is unknown. The cave is full of wisdom, and the 5 qi are soaring. Golden light appears quickly, covering my body. It is the Taoist golden light curse, shaped like glass, sealed like a closed door, shining with golden light, seamlessly integrated. It seems that there is already a great deal of heat. The wind blade struck on top, and the sound of ling ling was chaotic, but the Taoist remained expressionless. Upon seeing this, Lu Chun's eyebrows and eyes furrowed slightly. In the next moment, dozens of wind blades merged together to form a wind knife. As if the strings of the piano were tense, they came in an instant, and a fierce sound of breaking through the sky sounded. I saw the golden light transform into a big hand, grabbed the wind knife, and used a grip, dissipating invisibly. At this moment, the Taoist looked quite pleased and said, "Little monk, your cultivation is good." Although it was a compliment, Lu Chun heard it somewhat harshly. Is this Zhang Jiwei's strength now? I feel a bit dissatisfied in my heart. I had intended to hide more, but now I have to resort to more means. Shouting loudly, "Be careful next, Ningen curse." Instantaneous wind blades and ice swords arrived together. Zhang Jiwei felt a little surprised in his heart, not to mention his father below the stage. When did my own child have such a means? The wind howls, the ice is icy. But amidst the raging storm ice, that golden shadow stood still and towering. Little layman, I can't say I have to resort to some means, Zhang Jiwei said calmly, still revealing a hint of laziness. I saw a golden light rising, thunder flashing past, wind blades and ice swords shattered, and the Taoist's figure transformed into a phantom, with a finger pointing straight towards the center of his eyebrows. Hey guy, do you want to knock me down with just one move? The 5 qi in the chest are accumulating and rotating as desired. When the fingers approach, a mouthful of true qi sprays out, instantly reversing the 5 elements and exploding. The figure quickly retreats, stepping on the wind step and widening the distance. There's no way, who wouldn't have learned the martial arts of melee? Although I am full of qi and blood, I don't want to be beaten either. The wind blade ice sword followed closely and submerged the Taoist once again. Zhang Jiwei was surprised by the child's various methods, first the 2 images of wind and ice, and then the method of using the 5 qi. Seeing the subtle, this child has a very good cultivation of the 5 qi in his chest, and he controls it very well. It is the good seedling who cultivates the golden light mantra and the 5 thunder technique, and cannot help but feel the desire to love talent. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Frequent means you are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Frequent means thinking about how this child will master the 5 thunder technique in the future. He will gather together the Taoist little 3 wonders, wind, thunder, and ice. Not bad in the future, having such a junior brother will also bring face to oneself. In this way, one was determined to teach, the other was determined to show off, and the momentum gradually increased, attracting some people from the heavenly master's mansion to watch. Jinzhong's senior brother, who is this child? Surprisingly, he can have contact with senior brother, asked the disciple beside him. I don't know either. According to theory, today should be the day to collect Daotong. Senior brother Zhang Jiwei should be in Qianshan now. But it shouldn't be here to ruin the situation. Senior brother should have kept his hand. I saw the trajectory of the wind blade and ice sword in the field was unpredictable, and it was difficult to find gods and ghosts. There was even a hint of an imperial object. In the battle, his tactics became increasingly mature. The forms of wind and ice also vary. Not limited to weapons, the wind needle and ice cone directly greet their eyes and transform into 2 shields to protect themselves. There are also a few who specialize in attacking 3 roots. I'll go, this kid is going too far. However, at the same time, Zhang Jiwei was surprised in his heart that this child had such a deep energy capacity, unlike someone who had just practiced energy for 2 years, otherwise it would be impossible to fight him for such a long time. Coldly, I heard Lu Chun shout out, Taoist, be careful. Subconsciously, Zhang Jiwei looked up. I saw the young man's eyes wide open, as if there was a Tai Chi pattern in their eyes, which made people lose themselves. This method was conceived by Lu Chun himself when he was 3 years old, and he happened to hit the autumn water dew. After taking it, it transforms into a yin-yang diagram with the imagined Taiyin sun, which not only suppresses the sea of consciousness but also captures the spirit through the eyes. He named it God-taking. Zhang Jiwei fell into a daze, and the golden light dissipated. Lu Chun seized this hard-earned opportunity and condensed a puck to smash at him. At this point, Zhang Jiwei was not protected, so he could not use sharp tools, otherwise it would not be a friendship, but a feud. The Taoist next to him saw this and shouted, Senior brother, be careful. It was so suspenseful that Zhang Jiwei broke free at this moment, raised his arms together, and took a puck. I didn't feel anything about using the golden light curse to isolate myself before, but now I only feel bruises on my arms, which is very cold. Feeling the chilly atmosphere inside the venue again, it turned out to be very cool on summer days. Interesting. Zhang Jiwei suffered a heavy loss and thought to himself, this child may appear white on the surface, but inside it may be black. I couldn't help but bow with both hands and smile on the surface, saying, "Little layman, good means." Upon hearing this, Lu Chun replied, I dare not, I cannot match the Taoist's divine power. The young man is helpless and has no choice but to resort to all means. I hope that the Taoist can handle it in large quantities. Don't hold grudges. Both of them were smiling on the surface, but in their hearts Lu Chun's eyes curved slightly, and he saw an old Taoist with a childish face and white hair slowly approaching. Master, in charge of teaching. The voices of the disciples in the audience kept surging, and Lu Chun's heart was slightly calm. Half of the goal was achieved, and the heavenly master was led over by him. Zhang Jingqing looked up at the stage and asked, "What's going on?" Lu Bin rushed over on the side. Answered, "Heavenly Master, meet Lu Bin of the Lu family. This is my child and I have admired the Heavenly Master mansion for a long time. I want to worship under your door, but I'm afraid of my own lack of ability and low cultivation. I specially practiced with this Taoist on stage, which can be considered a voluntary recommendation. Oh. This is so interesting." Zhang Jingqing replied, couldn't help but scrutinize it carefully and looked at it together with the disciples below. Lu Chun heard that it was time to test himself. Whether or not one can join the Heavenly Master's mansion is just one shiver away. I am determined to use my hand to suppress the bottom of the box, which will make Old Master's eyes turn blue. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. True Emperors Landing on Earth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. True Emperors Landing on Earth. Lu Chun has already made up his mind. He shouted, "The Taoist priest has a superb technique, which I admire greatly. There is also one more technique, please taste it, Taoist priest. I hope you will handle it carefully." Zhang Jiwei was surprised by his many methods, and he was also very curious in his heart. What could make him use it in the end would definitely be extraordinary. Lu Chun stood sideways, with a faint thought in his heart. My God is not an extraordinary God, I am the God of Emperor Zhao of Yuan. The sky is magnificent during the day, and the ground is heavy during the night. May I ask the God who has this method? The God of the clear source and wonderful Tao, Erlang. In front of the old gentleman, preach in person, and show off as a hero in the yellow mud cave. May the heavens and earth move with one sound, and the 5 strategies for raising one's heart are among them. I now invite you to come. Let out a loud shout. I invite Zhaohui Lingxian Wang, Qingyuan Miaodao, and Erlang Xianqing Jinjuan to come to the world. It is precisely the means of advocating excellence that Lu Chun has learned. He is born with a childlike destiny and has the protection of a pure and wonderful Tao, the true Lord. Advocates of excellence are neither noble nor lowly, they are sacred. In ancient times, advocating excellence was related to priests, who were able to communicate with the gods smoothly. Advocating beautiful sounds to please the gods was called song, while advocating graceful postures to please the gods was called dance. In the end, it's all to invite the gods to descend on oneself. The means of advocating excellence are indeed a scam, but they did invite some kind of power, but this power is elusive yet ubiquitous. In a sense, it can be said that God is artificial. Although individuals may be small, the power that groups believe in is beyond your imagination. Especially excellent, they use unknown methods to collect the spiritual power that people show when worshipping gods, and when necessary, they will showcase their expertise. Acting. To portray oneself as a god, to transform oneself into a god, and to portray oneself with one's own life, this is the divine mask of Wu Yu. However, Lu Chun replaced the divine mask with the protective deity of the boy's life. The function of a mask is to absorb and store faith, and the effect of a child's life is actually better than that of a divine mask. Using gods as a medium to absorb faith is even more supernatural. At the same time, Lu Chun also found that by constantly absorbing faith, the life of a child is constantly growing. He has read all the secrets of the old lady at home. When I was 2 or 3 years old, I flipped through and played, but no one cared. No one would have thought that a 2 or 3-year-old child would be so precocious. My mother's so-called craft of pressing the bottom of the box has already been learned by him for a very long time, but no one knows it. Playing the god, transforming the god, and then pursuing oneself is the god. These are the several stages of advocating excellence in cultivation, while I relied on my child's destiny to directly reach the final stage. With the help of advocating excellence, Zhelong Sleeping Pill's figure rose a few points out of thin air, and finally reached a height of 1 zhang. Afraid that the Heavenly Master may not appreciate this method of advocating excellence, I am willing to explain it and increase my own weight. The shortcut said, my younger generation is born with a childlike destiny, and Zhelong Sleeping Pill is my protector divine general. By using this method of advocating excellence, my protector divine general is even more supernatural. What is a child's destiny? In the eyes of ordinary people, the destiny of a child is a special destiny, and those who uphold this destiny are mostly beautiful in appearance and complex and sensitive in their hearts. They are usually weak and sickly from a young age, and some rare and difficult strange diseases often occur in these people. Another characteristic of these people is that they are all destined to practice Buddhism and Taoism, and their surroundings always trigger some supernatural events in the eyes of ordinary people. Among these boys, there is another even rarer type, most of whom, like other peers, have a bumpy background. But what sets them apart is that they are intelligent and strong, yet their fates often turn adversity into safety. They may even give everyone a strange feeling, as if there is divine protection around such children. In the past, it was generally believed that a child's destiny was a heavenly deity or a reincarnation of a fairy child. Those sick and weak children are fairy children who have committed mistakes or carried cause and effect. When their sins are redeemed or cause and effect are resolved, the children will return to heaven, which is the reason why they are weak and die young. But outsiders don't see it that way. Strangers believe that the birth of a child's life is due to inexplicable evil spirits coexisting with the child at the moment of birth, but this is also a controversial claim. Tong Zi Ming is a variation of one's own soul or spirit. However, most mutations are malignant, while a very small number of benign mutations are even more severe. Not only does it not erode its essence, but it also gradually grows and demonstrates independence. This mutation was previously mistaken by some sensitive people for a protective deity. This is the fate of a child. I have heard of it before, but I didn't expect it to broaden my horizons today. For a while, there were various opinions in the audience. Looking at the scene again, many mysteries are revealed. The Qingyuan Miao Dao Jin Jun from Shangdanshan, attached to Lu Chun, exudes immense spiritual power. A poem praises. He has a clear and handsome appearance, with shining ears, shoulders, and eyes. Wearing a flying phoenix hat from the 3 mountains and a light goose yellow collar. Lined with golden boots and coiled dragon socks, with a jade belt and floral makeup. Wearing a crescent-shaped slingshot on the waist, holding a 3-pointed, 2-edged gun in hand. Axe-chopping Peach Mountain once saved Mother, flicking and striking the twin phoenixes of Zhuluo. The 8 strange voices of Li Zhu have a distant reputation, and the 7 holy acts of Jia Mei Mountain. A high heart does not recognize the heavenly family, a proud nature returns to the gods and resides in the Guanjiang River. Akaji Akihito is a wise sage, who embodies the boundless title Erlang. Looking at Lu Chun's current appearance. Long eyebrows and phoenix eyes, white teeth and fresh lips, fluttering with an ethereal appearance, exuding an astonishing beauty. If it weren't for the guests from Langyuan Yingzhou, they would be the ones who absorb the dew from the sunset. I can't help but be amazed. Lu Chun's last resort has finally emerged. With a slight lift in his eyes, he pointed at the 3-pointed, 2-edged knife in his hand and said, "Please teach me." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Unmatched Wonders. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Unmatched Wonders. Erlang Shen is the god of war. Although he is weak in close combat, with this blessing, he may not be much weaker than Zhang Jiwei. Zhang Jiwei thought to himself, it seems that I can't say I have to take it seriously anymore. I saw the golden light dissipate and replace it with Yang Wulei. One is the flickering thunder. One is accompanied by wind and ice. A demon-slaying master resembling the heavenly jade clear. One is like the truth in the world. You come and I go. The palm of one's hand thundered in the air, and the first to strike came first. One side cursed with wind and ice swirling around to protect oneself. The golden light transforms into a sword, and the divine energy becomes a weapon. Chop, stir, charge, prick, tease, point, collapse, chop, throw, entangle, twist, pluck, block. A three-blade, two-edged sword is incredibly skilled. Although it has never been practiced, this memory seems to be brought out of one's life. Golden light sword slant, horizontal cut, side cut, oblique pull, upward pick, straight hook, oblique sting, backward pierce, horizontal wipe, downward sweep, downward point, upward collapse, backward hanging, upward cloud. Although it is a basic swordsmanship, it is also endlessly useful. Zhang Jiwei met with a short soldier, and the guardian general was tall and powerful. I only felt a strong force in my hand. Although the opponent's skills were not exquisite, they were walking the path of using force to suppress others, which made me feel frustrated. Taoist, let's see my divine powers. I saw the three-pointed, two-edged sword in my hand, transforming into strands of divine energy, combined with the wind method, and transforming into three dragons. Another icy sword sprouted from his hand. This sword is famous and named Fenshui Sword. It is the true meaning of Lu Chun taking the Xianqing Jinjuan to slay demons and control water, combined with the condensing cold mantra. As it dances, there is a sound of splitting into the air, with a sense of dividing the river. Shout again, roaring dog, where is the flying eagle? I saw one eagle and one dog detaching from the divine general's body. Yay! Woo! Two people and three beasts fought together to form a regiment. Zhang Jiwei could only complain. Excuse me. Excuse me. Despite exerting all his strength, the child still fought without division. He had many means and was helpless. Zhang Jiwei only felt that his current situation was extremely difficult. The dragon is in charge of the wind, the divine eagle spreads its wings, the vicious dog bares its teeth, the sky's eyes between its eyebrows, and it flips up and down, specifically searching for Zhang Jiwei's flaws. Cold but not steady, it dazzles the eyes. The three-eyed battle only made Zhang Jiwei sweat profusely. Zhang Jiwei exerted all his strength to use the lightning technique, forcing one person and three beasts to escape. Lu Chun, on the other hand, remained steadfast. With a flip of both hands, the divine energy transformed into a golden bow and silver bullet in hand, and a cold arrow suddenly shot after Zhang Jiwei, chasing him straight away. Zhang Jiwei's golden light mantra transformed into qi and split the silver bullet, and both of them did indeed unleash true fire. Think of Zhang Jiwei as the eldest senior brother of the Longhu Mountain Heavenly Master. But now I am forced to this extent by a 6-year-old child. It's really like hiding tigers and leopards in the deep mountains, burying unicorns in the fields. The mountain axe. Lu Chun drank loudly and saw an axe solidify. The two characters, Kai Shan, in the calligraphy are inspired by Yang Jian's divine intention of splitting the mountain to save his mother. Soaring up in the air, with a move of splitting Hua Mountain with force, he directly attacked Zhang Jiwei. Zhang Jiwei sacrificed himself and flashed by, only to see soil and rocks splattering everywhere, and 3 zhang of cracks appeared on the ground. Zhang Jiwei's mouth twitched at the corner. If he were to be caught, the golden light curse wouldn't be able to be held. Master, don't you mind? Someone is going to demolish Dragon and Tiger Mountain. I'm in a hurry, Zhang Jiwei is in a hurry. The disciples below were both stunned and stunned. They never imagined that the senior brother would one day be forced to such an extent. The heavenly master downstairs was very happy to see Zhang Jiwei suffer from exhaustion. Smiling, he said, "It's okay, it's okay. I can still afford this little salary." Only he knew that Zhang Jiwei, a disciple, had a proud personality. With a heart to grind him, he is a disciple of the same generation in the mountains, but no one is his opponent. But now there is someone who can suppress him and fight, still a child, which is what he enjoys. Zhang Jiwei had no choice but to fight again. A boy's destiny becomes apparent, his methods are frequent, and he is extremely mysterious. His divine power is like a prison, and fierce beasts obey orders, just like the majestic golden armor god. A golden light curse undergoes inexplicable changes, with all 18 weapons on the battlefield. The Yang 5 thunder force is like Mercury pouring down the ground, wielding a thunder domain like the supreme Jade Clear King. Alright, stop it. Hope everyone can support us. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Apprentice Dragon and Tiger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Apprentice Dragon and Tiger. The two of them stopped and stood on both sides after hearing the words. The divine figure dissipated, revealing a child, panting slightly. Fortunately, we stopped shouting. If we continue to fight, Qi will be at its bottom. It seems that the time for cultivation is still short, and the amount of Qi is not enough, Lu Chun thought. On the side, Zhang Jiwei looked at him and thought to himself, where did this child learn so much? His skills and Taoist teachings are so impressive. Who would believe he was a 6-year-old child? Little benefactor, your methods are divine, and I admire them. Zhang Jiwei exclaimed. I dare not be praised as a Taoist, my basic skills are difficult to climb to the level of elegance, Lu Chun replied. Alright, you two should come down first. Jiwei, the Wanfa sect altar limits you to complete it within 3 days, said the heavenly master. I'm obeying. Zhang Jiwei looked bitter. Zhang Jingqing looked at this child and also liked it in her heart. Moreover, this child is the child's destiny of Qingyuan Miao Dao Xinjun, and should be part of our Taoist family. Ask, child, do you want to join my heavenly master's mansion? Lu Chun replied, yes, young man. Lu Chun hopes to worship under the sect of the heavenly master. Zhang Jingqing said, based on your current cultivation and methods, you can be said to be unparalleled among your peers. Old man, my heavenly master's mansion is very poor. Do you really want to join? Willing to join? Can you abide by the rules and regulations? Hold on. Lu Chun answered firmly. 3 questions and 3 answers, Zhang Jingqing seemed very satisfied. Nodding, he said, since that's the case, come with me. A group of people arrived at the Shangqing Palace. Set up an altar for disciples to observe the ceremony. The heavenly master offered incense, bowed 3 times and kowtowed 9 times to the ancestor, and submitted a memorial to the ancestor. Lu Chun was appointed as the 65th generation disciple of the heavenly master's mansion, and then sat upright on the top seat of the hall. Lu Chun is preparing to pay homage to his master and offer incense. He first bowed 3 times and kowtowed 9 times to his ancestor, then bowed and bid farewell to his father. Finally, he turned around to face the old celestial master, bowed 3 times to him, and passed down the precepts. Li Cheng. The heavenly master said, from now on, you will be a disciple of the old Taoist sect. Disciple Lu Chun, pay respects to master. The heavenly master also instructed, it is said that the wood is beautiful in the forest, and the wind will destroy it. No disciple can speak about today's martial arts performance. You don't need to ask about your junior brother's methods. Everyone has their own opportunities. Have you heard it clearly? A group of disciples replied, I will strictly abide by my teacher's orders. Zhang Jiwei once again recommended the senior brothers to Lu Chun, and thus Lu Chun joined the Dragon and Tiger Mountain Gate. Lu Bin was secretly happy to see that Lu Chun had finally achieved his wish, and stayed overnight for 2 days before finally bidding farewell. Lingxia Mountain instructed, "From now on, you will be at Longhu Mountain, and there is no need to worry about your family. It will be a few years before we meet again, father and son. My father and I are from the same generation as the contemporary head of the Lu family, Lu Xian. According to our seniority, you should take the character, you. Your father and I have separated and left the Lu family village, so there is no need to be constrained by that. But there are still some incense and romance that need to be recited. Since you want to stay at Longhu Mountain, I will give you your calligraphy first, and call it Ziyu." This is also the first time Lu Chun has heard his father say that Lu Xian is not Lu Jin's father. "I didn't expect that I and Lu Jin are from the same generation. Lu Ziyu, it sounds pretty good. I didn't expect you, Dad, to be so big and rough that you could even name yourself as one Zhou Zhou. Lu Chun laughed. "Your father and I also attended a private school in Lujiazwang for a few years. Alright, you can go back first. Your mother is still worried at home. I'll go back and give her good news first. In the future, I'll be fine. When I have time, I'll go home and take a look." After parting, Lu Chun turned back to the mountain gate, followed the arrangements, and learned various things with his fellow teachers. End of this chapter.